Blow, winds, and crack your cheeks. Rage, blow, you cataracts and hurricanos. Spout till you have drenched our steeples, drowned the cocks. You sulphurous and thought-executing fires. Vaunt couriers to oak-cleaving thunderbolts. Singe my white head. And thou, all-shaking thunder, smite flat the thick rotundity of the world. Crack nature's molds and German spill at once that make ingrateful man. William Shakespeare, King Lear, 1608.
Hey everyone, welcome to part 2 of our epic trilogy all about the legendary beasts of Johto. I'm PokeKellz.
And I'm Sky Trainer Alex. Today we move on from Entei to talk about another one of his brothers and probably the one that gets the least love, Raikou.
Oh yeah, huh? Entei's got the Entei Dad movie, Suicune's got the box art on Crystal. What does Raiko get?
Actually, he got a 3-part made-for-TV special, but like, if I were Raikou, I'd get a new agent because that is not as sexy what the other guys got.
Right? Pokemon is getting so Hollywood lately.
I mean, hasn't it been a marketing tool from the very
So Hollywood lately.
It's Raiko.
Raiko is the thunder Pokemon. The Pokedex states that it is said to have descended with lightning, which sounds like a pretty godlike thing to do, and let's be real. Remember the fire in the brass tower from last episode? That probably had more than a little bit to do with the lightning Raiko descended with. Just saying.
Yeah, and it's no surprise then that Raikou's name literally just means lightning in Japanese. You can also interpret it to mean Thunder Emperor and Thunder Duke, but the point is, he roars thunder, he leaves shockwaves behind when he walks, and he can shoot lightning out of the clouds on his back at will.
Yep. And those dark purple clouds that make up his mane actually kind of resemble real-life cumulonimbus clouds. They're always big, always puffy, and when they're billowing in purple like that, it means thunderstorms are ahead. Pretty cool stuff, right?
Right. On top of that, Raikou's design also seems to resemble the look of the Smilodon, which we know better as the Sabertooth tiger. Though now extinct, they used to roam the Americas about 12,000 years ago, and the crazy huge canine teeth it was known for could be up to 7 inches long!
At one point in time, Smilodon was the apex predator in 2 continents, but then they started having to compete with early man, and you know how we do it when it comes to nature's children. Hashtag mass extinction, hashtag no remorse.
Yikes. And, just like the legendary beasts, Smilodon also carries with it a lot of basic name confusion. People commonly call them tigers, even though experts are pretty sure they were much closer to lions, and so we try to split the difference by calling them saber-tooth cats instead. But, judging by this next nugget of info, I'd bet that the designers over at Game Freak were mostly thinking tigers.
Remember the Manectric episode where we talked all about the Raikou? He's a lightning creature from Japanese myth, and while Manectric is a dead ringer for his wolf form, Raiko is obviously based on his tiger form. He's got a weasel form too, but I don't know if there's a Pokemon version of it. Maybe Raichu? I don't know, what even is Raichu?
What even is Raichu indeed? But hey, all this talk of Pokemon Origins got me thinking about the origin of all Pokemon and the crazy magical world they all inhabit.
Does he really seem like a weasel though? I mean, I get his name sounds similar, but it doesn't...
Man, come on, you're missing on my segue.
Okay, really? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our Legendaries Only segment, the Pokemon Creation Myth.
Well, I mean, I guess that was pretty good.
Etc.
Well, I wanted to be the one to say it, but okay, fine, that's fine. So last time in the Entei episode, we learned the origin of the legendary beast, but we also left you with a question. We get that Ho-Oh made them into legendaries, but what was the power that caused the Brass Tower fire in the first place?
Remember the Slowpoke in Azalea Town and the story about how 400 years ago a Slowpoke's yawn ended a devastating drought? Slowpokes are not super powerful like legendaries, and there's no scientific way that we can explain that. So instead, we are putting forth the idea that while Pokemon are indeed magical, there's also some higher force that they seem to draw their power from, especially in times of need.
Entei, Raiko, and Suicune's origin story also seems to show Pokemon interacting with this mysterious power, so we pored over their history and design to see if there was anything there to support our theory, and what we came up with is basically just baby steps, but the possibilities make my imagination run wild.
You may have noticed that all of the legendary beasts have head adornments. Entei's is a golden crown, Suicune has its crystal tiara, and Raiko has a silver plate helmet. Obviously, this is a reference to the games of the Gen 2 series, but it starts to get weird when you realize this happens pretty much every time. There's always an important Pokemon who's linked to the title of the games.
Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle are red, green, and blue. Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza are ruby, sapphire, and emerald. Diamond and Pearl had Dialga and Palkia, and so on and so on. So what does it mean? To form our theory, we went back to the idea of interdimensional portals like we see at the end of the Delta episode in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and our theories about humans in the Pokemon world.
Long story short, we think that a long time ago there was a portal between our human world and the world of Pokemon, and that before the portal closed, some humans decided to stay over on the Pokemon side and create a civilization together with them. But what if the connection goes deeper than that?
In the human world today, we know Pokemon is a super popular portable gaming franchise that's made its name by having more than one version and allowing players to trade and battle with each other wherever they are.
But thanks to the Delta episode, we now know that in the game world, playing and trading is explained as opening and closing portals not just between different realms, but also different alternate versions of the same reality.
So, if the Pokemon world sees link cables as portals between dimensions, what does that make the developers of the game? Omnipotent super gods? Kinda adds a whole new meaning to what the Game Freak employees say when you meet them in game, huh? This is getting pretty out of hand. We'll end it here for now, but we'll talk more about that next week.
Whoa, man, do you ever feel like maybe we're overthinking it?
I mean, yes, but people wouldn't come watch us if we weren't saying something interesting, right?
Right. Battle strats?
Right, let's do it.
Pokemon!
We do say interesting stuff, right? Even though he's kinda overlooked compared to Entei and Suicune, Raiko's a scrapper, and you can tell he's legendary because he has significantly more bulk than most Mon with his kind of power and speed. Start this VGC set with the timid nature and super train it in special attack and speed.
A big part of what Raiko brings to the table is the way he can intimidate bulky water types, so make sure and back that up with devastating moves like Stab Thunderbolt or Hidden Power Ice.
And since you're going to be forcing so many switches, use Stab Volt Switch to always try and maintain that momentum and keep your advantage throughout the match. Opponents are going to have trouble punching through your special defense stat, so put Snarl in that last slot for when that sweeper comes in and you want to take him down a notch.
Also, this set has 4 attacks on it, which means you can boost that special defense even more by giving Raiko an Assault Vest to hold. Just try not to switch in and out too much or you might get stuck in front of a fast physical attacker with less than full HP, which trust me, would not be tight.
And that's it. Of course, that's not the only way to train a Raiko, so as always, here are a few random thoughts.
Maybe try swapping out one of these moves for Protect, especially if physical attackers are getting you down. It really just depends on whether you feel comfortable relying on other teammates to take care of them.
Another way around this is with Reflect. It's not foolproof, but sometimes it'll get you that extra turn you need to get the KO or force the switch.
Raiko's also a great candidate for Thunder Wave, not only because his speed almost guarantees you're gonna get it out first, but because your opponent's never gonna see it coming since he rarely ever runs it.
Or if you're feeling truly evil, go with Discharge. It hits everyone on the field and has a 30% chance to paralyze, so just make sure you've got a partner with Lightning Rod, Mega Sceptile, and just go to work.
And that's it, Raiko, part 2 of 3. Can't wait for the next one, this is getting interesting as heck.
Click here for more legendary episodes and more Creation Myth segments, or here for more electric types. And don't forget to subscribe. I'm Sky Trainer Alex.
And I'm PokeKellz. Tune in next week for the final episode of our Legendary Beast trilogy here on
The Dex.